and welcome to this episode of Live from the Hombre Cave. Hope you guys are having a very happy St. Patrick's Day. Not a whole lot of people here today because I guess everyone's out partying for St. Patrick's Day. I'm not much of a St. Patrick's Day partier, so I don't really go out and do anything on St. Patrick's Day. I kind of just save it for Halloween. Halloween's like my big holiday where we go crazy here. We have a lot of fun for Halloween. So I don't know, maybe everyone's out celebrating St. Patty's Day. Hey, what's up, JCS Guitar? Hope you're still here. Glad you can make it tonight. So tonight we're gonna on Tuesday during the live stream, I went through some of the aging projects and stuff that I've been working on, and what I did, and kind of what I did as well, and did and tasted through a few of the ones from the projects. So today we're going to go through the rest and kind of talk about what I did and taste through those as well. And then you guys have questions or comments or whatever, go ahead and just, ask away or comment away. And I will answer your questions the best of my ability. We're still just a little early here. I started a little early today because I figured we'll give people more of a chance to get here before we get things going. So some things for everybody to know about. I got a Luchador Anejo in, but it's not available in the stores yet. So once it's at the distributor and where we can get it offered up on Ferment and Still, I'll do the review of those. I have another brand that I just got into that I'm going to do a review for. This one is from 1414 from Vivanco Associates. It's called Luna Nueva, New Moon. So that one should be really good because, Sergio Cruz really doesn't do anything bad. Actually, I take that back. I've had a couple of tequilas out of 1414 that I didn't particularly care for. Other than that, all of the rest of them are pretty solid, especially like Viva Mexico, like what I did on the one I used for the aging project. That turned out so good. I got some people that messaged me after that asking like what sherry I used, and so I sent pictures off to those people that did that. And then the port was a port I bought at Bevmo, so I have it down. I can take a picture and send it if you want to know what port I used too. JCS says he's sipping on his El Tesoro aging project. Nice. You notice it getting better the longer it sits in the bottle? Because I find that if I let it go and don't drink it too fast, it gets better and better and better every time I pop it open. That's one of the things I like about these aging staves is the flavor on them is so good, and then the longer you give it a chance to open up and stuff, the better it gets. So you end up with some really nice flavor profiles for your aging projects. Now, there's some misnomers and information that's just flat out wrong that people are commenting about on these aging projects. They're like, I didn't think you could put a wooden dowel in a bottle and age it. And it's like, well, you can. And they're like, you can't turn a Blanco into an Añejo. It's like, yes, you can. Yeah, it's not going to be certified by the CRT, and you can't sell it, as a aged tequila, with the CRT's blessing and stuff. Yeah, sure, you can't do that. But who's going to do that anyways? But it's basically, it comes out to being equal to an Añejo. Just by dropping the dowel in and letting it go for 12 months. So that's 3 months for every week. So that's 4 weeks. So you let it go 4 weeks, and you're looking at what's equivalent to an Añejo from a Blanco. So yeah, it's really nice. Okay, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I've always had good luck with the aging projects. I've never had one that I didn't like. So. But I'm glad other people are getting into them. Some other people, like what, I don't know if he's here, but Joe Rodriguez, he's starting a new one where he's using a Riesling wine. That sounds interesting. You can get totally experimental with it and just have fun trying different things. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And create your own flavor profiles and stuff. And then what you do is just make sure you keep a notebook with the projects and what you did. So if you like it, it turns out great, then you can duplicate it just by following your notes in your notebook. So I have a notebook that I have all the aging stuff that I've done in there. And then notes on what I did, how long I waited, all that important information so I can duplicate it at any time. Which makes it so it's great because it's like the Velo that I did. I forgot where I moved it to, but the El Velo that I did, I'm on my fourth bottle of that, so I've created it 4 times, and then the Madeira, the G4 Madeira. This is my 3rd and 4th bottle that I did for these projects here. So that was good that I can duplicate it because I liked it so much from the first one that I did. So keeping notes is important, so you know what you did, and then you can duplicate it if you liked what you did. JCS says his next project will be using Ocho Blanco. Nice. Ocho Blanco is a good base Blanco to start with. Have you thought about what you're going to do? Are you just going to use the basic stave, or are you going to season it all with something? That would be the question to ask. Are you going to experiment? Because you can use just the regular stave. You don't have to season it with anything, and they come out so good just dropping a regular stave in it. Looks like we're going to have a small audience today. Everyone's out celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Kind of sucks, but oh well. Oh, you added another person. So Rockney Lee wants to know: do temperature variations help with the aging? The color of my Fortaleza still strength with the number 3 American oak that I soaked in Maker's Mark is very light still, and is going on 11 weeks. Temperature has something to do with it. You don't want it to be too cold. You want it to be warmer. So try to keep it like at 70s or something, like up there, and like a room temperature in your house. Hopefully your house isn't too cold, but if you put it down in the basement or out in an area where it gets really cold, that will affect it. So, but sometimes too, the color may not be dark like this one. This was 4 weeks. This is the Pasote Blanco. That's 4 weeks. Look how light that is compared to like the G4, right? So it could just be the tequila. Although my still strength, this is French oak after 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Sorry, 12 weeks. So that's what that one looks like after 12 weeks. That's a year. So that's 3 years. So that's an extra Anejos. So that's 12 weeks. So 36 months is what I went on. And look how dark it was. So 11 weeks is a long period of time. So that's what 33 months. So you're over an extra Añejo. Have you tasted it at all, Rockney? You should taste it and see what it tastes like. Hey, a little late to the party, but hi everybody. No, you're not late. You're just on time. Things are just now starting to go. Hey, Winfred. Bienvenido, welcome. Glad you can make it. We're just answering questions right now on aging projects and stuff. So, yeah, I'm in Southern California, so it's been horrible. But I don't keep it in the garage. I keep it in my house, which we normally have I think it's 74 degrees in the house. And it sits here in this office, because I have the computers and stuff in here running all the video and everything, it runs a little warmer. So this one runs around 75 degrees here in this room. So between 75 and 80, like right in there. So this, it stays warmer here in this room. But that's where I keep all the aging projects. They stay here in this office. So, yeah, tastes like an añejo. Okay, good. That's what you wanted, right? Fortaleza añejo. Yeah, don't worry about the color as long as the flavor's there. Well, I just want to stick with that. Hold on. It doesn't want to change my... Oh, hold on. Let me see if this keeps popping up. Jan's thing, and I can't change it. Let me see. All right. Let's see if this will work now. There we go. Okay, good. The flavor's the main part. So as long as it tastes like an añejo, then you're good. Don't worry about the color so much. It could be too that just there wasn't a whole lot of color in the wood, but I've never had that been the case for me. So, hola, Quicksilver. Glad you can make it. Oh, it's in the house about 7. That should be normal. That's fine. But hey, if it still tastes like an añejo, I wouldn't worry about the color. G4, I mean, is very light, and because it's it's used up. A lot of the char is used up by the Dickel in the barrel, so I wouldn't worry as long as it's got a little bit of a color to it and it tastes like an añejo. That's what you want. So I wouldn't worry about the color too much because sometimes the color's on and off. I've had them be lighter and on some and darker on others. These two were very light compared to all the rest of them. So this had its own brand new stave in it. This was American oak with Maker's 46. And this one's fairly light too. And this was American oak with Blanton's. So you see how light these are. And it was done the same time as these. So, and this is French oak. This was 4 weeks as well. Can you explain how it aged quicker in the bottle? Yeah. When you put a piece of wood in, right? When you're doing with a barrel, your tequila is inside the barrel, right? So it's just sitting there. And then you have to wait for all the tequila in the middle to eventually work its way around and get to the make contact with the wood. And so by it being in a barrel, you have to wait for evaporation or whatever in order for it to fill in the spaces and kind of move around. Also, the barrel will constrict and expand with temperature and with the humidity in the room and where it's being aged. And so that draws the tequila in and out and gets that exposure that way too. But with these, the stave sits on the bottle and moves around, right? So it's visiting with more tequila in a shorter period of time than inside the barrel. So it causes it to get exposure to the wood faster and draw everything out of the wood faster. And so it's because of that, the exposure and the aging time is quicker. So that it draws everything out of all the wood faster because it's actually immersed in the tequila versus containing the tequila in the middle of it. Does that make sense? It's kind of like if you had a chiller, right? If you had a chiller and you were chilling a pot of hot liquid, right? And you put the chiller on the outside of the pot and then went to chill it, it would take longer for it to chill into the middle than if you took the chiller, an immersion chiller, and put it into the pot and then chilled it out that way. So it just ages faster because it's inside the bottle and it's floating around. It's moving, so it's touching more tequila faster. Does that make sense? I hope it does. My two projects, the Madeira and the G4-108, I pulled the staves beginning of the week. Figured I'd let it go another week of resting before I get into it. Oh, nice. Sounds like you're good. Is the color affected by the... Yeah, it's affected by the char or toast of the wood. These are number 3 toast. So these are cooked the same as... This is a number 3 toast as well. So these are cooked the same at the same temperature for the same period of time. So it should, theoretically give it the same color, but sometimes it doesn't, and it could just be the wood. The wood itself didn't have enough caramelization happening inside of it, enough of the sugars and stuff that caramelize or whatever. That could be the case. But yeah, it's affected. If you char it, it'll be darker. But also, people don't know this. When you char the inside of a barrel, you're actually creating charcoal. You're creating charcoal. So the first layer of the aging, you're basically carbon filtering your tequila. So that's what happens with bourbon. And when they put white bourbon into a barrel, it's extremely hot. It's like really, really hot. It's really not pleasant to drink. It burns so bad. And then they rely on a heavy char, the carbon filtering, to smooth things out a little bit as it goes in and out of the wood. It's getting carbon filtered from the charcoal. So that's kind of like what the char does. And so char can also impart a smoky flavor. I didn't particularly like... I tried to use the char when he charred the staves, and it literally fell apart too inside the bottle, and I was like trying to fish out pieces of little pieces of wood using a coffee filter and stuff. And I just didn't like it. It had a smoky flavor to it. It almost burnt, and I didn't like the way that affected the tequila. The toasting by far gives you a better result than charring it. The toast definitely works better, and that's why tequilas like the 123 Organics, all those they use toasted barrels. So toasted American oak for the 123, and a toasted French oak for the Diablito, and they're fantastic, and they have a lot better flavor profile because the toast, you're drawing out a lot of the more natural oils out of the wood because they're toasted. So Beyond Barrels is here. Hola, Chris. Bienvenido. Welcome. Glad you can make it. We hadn't started the tasting portion yet, so you haven't missed anything, Chris. So it is affected by the toast and stuff, and that's why the lighter toast, if you get a number 1, I think he's offering number 1 and number 3s now. If you get a number 1, it's not going to change the color as dark as a number 3 will, and you'll get less of the caramel and vanilla flavors and stuff because those are from the caramelization. So says, what do you mean no number 3 toast? Cooked? Yeah, there's no char. It's cooked. So it's just warmed up but not treated with fire, to the point where it chars it. So yeah, that's what I mean. When you do a char, it's like you take fire and you just put the wood over fire and let it burn the outside of it. Have you ever seen like a barrel getting charred for like whiskey? They have this huge burner and they put the barrel over the burner and they fire the burner up and just flames just come out of the inside of the barrel and they just burn the out of the barrel. And then that's how they put the char on the inside of it. So it's the same with, charring these. He would have to put it over fire and get it so it burns the outside of it, creates that charcoal layer, and then use it that way. So with the toast, it's just heated, and I don't know if he does open fire toasting or not, but they just heat the wood up and get it to a certain temperature instead of hitting it with fire directly. So that's what toasting is. So it's not, you're not putting a scorch on it. You're not burning the ends of it, the outside of it or whatever. Instead, they're just heating the wood up so it gets the oils loosened up in it. They're caramelized. The sugars and the wood are caramelized as well, so it draws more flavor and oil and stuff out. So all right. Buenas noches. Can't wait to see my sample de Montecito. Yeah, they're coming. They're put in the mail today, so you should be getting them. I don't know how long it takes to get to Wisconsin, but you should be getting them. So I don't know if that was supposed to be a stab at me or reminding me to send them out. Don't worry, they went out. You don't need to do that. You can just, if you want to message me and ask me if they went out, that's a good way to do that. But yeah, they went out for both you and for Jan. You guys will be getting your de Matachinas. They went out in the mail today. We just got delayed in getting the bottles filled and sent out. So all right. So are we getting ready? Oh wait, are we getting ready to get through the? Ever try? Yes, yes. I blew Lalo up. I'm the one that kind of blew it up. Got people talking about it. So much that Lalo and I are such good friends that he gave me a bottle. I have the only one in existence of the 110 proof 110 proof Lalo Blanco out of their brand new distillery. He gave that to me for my birthday last year. It was a present because what I've done for them and stuff. So, have you tried aging with a rum? I haven't. No, you mean a seasoning with a rum? I haven't used a rum yet. I'm not a rum drinker, so I don't have rum around the house. I used to be a bourbon drinker, so I have bourbon in the pantry and stuff. But I don't have any rum around the house. Otherwise, I would definitely do it. I have wine, so I used wine. I like to drink port, so I have port. I had a sherry because I wanted to taste a certain sherry, so I bought a bottle of Pedro Jimenez sherry from Spain, and I enjoyed that, so I used that as well. I use stuff that I have around the house, so most of the time it's wine, and but rum would be great. You can buy a rum if you have rum, or use a rum that's around the house and just soak it. I put it in a Ziploc bag and I drop the stave in so it's coated in rum, and then seal it and let it sit overnight or for 2 days, and you should be good to go. So, but I've never used rum. I don't have any rum around the house. I didn't really want to buy rum just to use for aging projects. So I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure it'll work. I've known other people that have done aging projects with us on the Discord group as well as here that have used rum with great success. So don't be afraid to use it if you want it. If you want to, it should be great. All right, so let's get into the tasting portion, and I do have the Lalo here for the aging project that we did. So this is the American Oak with Blanton. So I haven't tasted that one yet. We're gonna do that one today, and then this is the new Pasote, not the 1579. This is 1584 Pasote. But you look how light that is too. It didn't get a lot of the color that the other ones did, and this one's even turned out light too. See, it's not as dark as, say, like this is the French Oak G4. So we're going to compare this French Oak G4, which is a regular French Oak, the regular staves, to this G4, but this is the Madeira. I had to use a different bottle that I had that was empty because the stave is not a rounded stave that he gave me for the experimental wood. It's a rectangle, and it got stuck in the bottle, so I couldn't pull it out of the bottle. So I just decanted it into another bottle. So this is the Madeira G4, but I just put it in a G4 Repo bottle. So so let's dive into these and see what we got. So the first one we'll do is the Pasote. So this is Pasote. I soaked it in Maker's 46. because, you know, like I said before, I was a bourbon drinker, so I have a bottle of Maker's 46 laying around. I soaked it in Maker's 46 for 24 hours, and got a really good, you know, soaking on it. So let's see what we get on this one. Now, the one thing nice about these staves is you can reuse them. You can use, I use them twice. And then just know, though, for the second time, you're going to have to let it go a little longer, because it's some of this, all the goodness has been out from the first use. So how do you get the staves out? You take, there's a video on the channel that shows you how to remove the staves. You can go see that. But what I do is you just take a wooden skewer and take the pointy, you know, the sharp pointy part to it, and you stick it in the end of the bottle, and you poke it right into the top of the, like right into the top of the stave, and then you just pull it right out. It sticks to the skewer, and just pull it straight out of the top of the bottle. It comes out like a charm. I have put a video up on the Hombre Cave channel on how to do it, so you can find that video there. That's how I do it. So yeah, Chris is going to answer you too after I just use one of those wooden skewers for food, stick the top in and pull it out, or decant into something else and pour the liquid. Yeah. You're welcome, Scott. So that's how you get the staves out. So we have a big pack of wooden skewers, and I just pop it in, and it comes out very easily. You just make sure it's really sharp on the end of your skewer, and stick it right into the end of the stave, and then you just, when you pull it out, it'll be stuck to it. So you're welcome. You're welcome. No problem. That's what I'm here to help. All right, so let's look at this Pasote. Right, we started with the Pasote. Let's look at the Pasote. This is aged with the American oak and Maker's 46. So looking at it in the glass, it's got a good coating on it. Let's go closer. There we go. Legs and tears are forming. Looks good. It's a very light straw color on the coloring of it from aging. This is equivalent to a year, so this would be an añejo because it's 4 weeks, which is the 3 months for every week. So let's see what we get on the nose on this. Oh, you know, even though it doesn't have a lot of color to it, it definitely picked up a lot of the wood elements on it. Wow, it smells really good. I definitely get to cook the agave, the cinnamon and baking spices on it. And then it's just loads of like maraschino cherry, almost like a banana note coming from it too, like a tropical fruit. And then vanilla and like caramel and kind of a cream soda-esque kind of vanilla caramel. Yeah, all the staves are toasted. When you get a number 3, it's all toasted. I don't do any charred. All of mine are toasted. So this is a number 3 American oak, number 3 toasted American oak with soaked in Maker's 46. I don't do any chars on any of these aging staves. They're all toasted. Number 3 toast, which is number 3 toast is a medium toast for most like barrel makers and stuff. It would be called a medium toast. We ranged them out originally from 1 to 5. So the 1 is like the lightest toast, or close to no toast, up to 5, which is a heavy toast. And then originally they had charred, but the charred didn't work for me, so I didn't want the charred anymore. So now he only does 1. You can buy 1 toast and a 3 toast, because those 2, I guess, were the most popular for people. And he didn't want to have to sit there and toast wood and just have it sitting inventory around that he couldn't sell. So, which makes sense. And then the charring is just, he had to have the right tools to char, and he doesn't have that. And there was too many issues with the wood falling apart because the wood's kind of soft, things like that. So, and I personally wouldn't use the char anyways. I like the number 3 toast the best from all the experiments that I've done. And so that's why I use the number 3 toast all the time, which is the equivalent to a medium toast. So this just smells amazing. I even pick up like some dried fruit as well, like apricots, but it smells really good. It definitely has that wonderful vanilla and caramel and chocolate notes that are coming through on it. It smells good. All right, let's see what we get on the flavor profile. I haven't had any tequila yet today, so I'm going to have to get my lips and gums acclimated first, so hold on a second. Gotta get the burnout here real quick. Get my lips and gums acclimated. So while we're waiting, guys, don't forget to click the thumbs up button and give me a like on the video. It doesn't cost anything for that. All right, so now we're ready to go on the tasting here. Get that wonderful cooked agave, the cinnamon and baking spices up front. Definitely picking up some cherry, some orange, and then vanilla and caramel. Really nice vanilla and caramel notes coming through. Hint of chocolate mixed in there as well. This is really nice. No, I could definitely sit with this and drink this while smoking a nice cigar. I'd probably go Maduro on this because the flavors are pretty prevalent. So it tastes great though. It tastes really good. And I'm a fan of the new Pasote. I mean, people keep like, hey everyone, sorry to be late, but the St. Patrick's Day and amateurs are out tonight. Yeah. Hope you all been having fun. I've been sipping on Teralta Blanco today, so I'm all a little drunk. Oh, okay, good. Nothing wrong with being a little drunk, so. But I actually like the new Pasote better than the old Pasote, because the Pasote, the previous Pasote was bland. And it's funny because when you sit with Felipe, he pretty much tells you the same thing because it uses the 60% rainwater and 40% natural spring water. It didn't have as much minerals and stuff in it, and so it came out for me bland. So I like the G4 better than the Pasote, but the new one they use deep well water for it. They don't use the Felipe's deep well water. It's not as deep as Felipe's, but they use well water and it's got more mineral content to it. So for me, the flavor profile on the new Pasote pops more than the old one. I actually enjoy it more than the old one. I still have bottles of old ones sitting here. You can probably see them right here. That I've opened and never really drank them because it's like for me it was like it was okay. Cool show for St. Patty's. Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna pull my stave from my G4 Blanco tomorrow and let it sit for 2 weeks before I try it again. Okay, nice. That'll be good. You might even want to just like shake it up a little bit too while it's sitting. And just kind of, but this turned out really good, so I'm happy with this. It turned out good. It's a little sharper than the other ones, but I think it's from the tequila itself, though. But it's good. It's definitely drinkable. I can definitely enjoy it. And I can definitely have a nice cigar with that and not have any problems with it at all. It's good. So that was Pasote. That's with Maker's 46 soaked stave. This one is Lalo with American oak stave soaked in Blanton's. So this is Blanton's. what is that? I've only had the most recent Pasote, very strong mineral taste to it. I liked it, but G4 was the new favorite Blanco until I tried the El Tesoro Blanco that has been taking its place of G4. Okay, good. Yeah, G4, I love G4. But I do love, El Tesoro too. I drink a lot of both of those. There's no reason you have to pick one over the other. There's no reason why you can't like them both. Everyone always says, what's your favorite? It's like, I don't have to pick a favorite because I can drink them both. There's no rule saying you have to pick a favorite. They're different for different reasons, and they're good that way. So, any advantage of decanting and then putting them back in the bottle to shorten up the rest in time? No, not really. Just you get more air into it. But I just let it sit in the bottle because you're just letting it kind of melt a little bit. I don't like getting too much air into it because it oxidizes. So you don't want to oxidize your tequila, but just letting it sit so all the flavors and stuff meld is always a good thing. So I wouldn't decant it and then put it back. There's no advantage to that. Leave it in the bottle, but just let it settle down because it's been sucked in and out of the wood. It needs some time to rest. So just let it rest. Otherwise, if you want to just put air into it, get an air stone on an aquarium pump and drop that in there. But I wouldn't recommend doing it because aerating softens things up and it also can cause oxidation faster. So I just will let it marry, just let it meld together and kind of settle down on its own without adding any more air into things or oxidizing things further, quicker. All right, so this is the Lalo. This is 4 weeks of the American Oak Stave that was seasoned with Blanton's. Blanton's Bourbon. So looking at it in the glass, let's see there. It coats the glass nicely. You can see all those legs and tears coming down. So it's got a nice viscous mouthfeel to it. And the color on it is, light straw. No, it doesn't change the ABV at all. When the ABV changes in the barrels, it's because water is being evaporated from the barrels. The barrels are not airtight. So you actually, depending on there's two things that can happen. Depending on the humidity, if it's very humid, you'll lose alcohol out of the barrel, but not water. And if it's lower humidity, then you'll lose water out of the barrel and not alcohol. So when you do that, when it's a lower humidity, your ABV will go up as you lose water, right? Because the alcohol by volume gets increased as your volume decreases, but the amount of alcohol that's in there stays the same. You're losing water. Water is evaporating. But like in Felipe Camarena's example, in his basement, he's got a lot of standing water and stuff on the floor, and it's way humid down there. And so he actually loses ABV. So his ABV gets lower because the water stays in the barrel, but the alcohol ends up getting evaporated out. So that's, it won't change the ABV at all. Yeah, not usually. All right, cool. Yeah, now you don't need to do that. Just keep it in the bottle. It'd be rare for it to change much at all. Yeah, exactly. Do you think 4 weeks is a happy time for I like 4 weeks. I've been very happy with my results at 4 weeks. But if you want to let it go longer, you can. The nice thing about 4 weeks is that I still have a good amount of stuff still in the stave that I can reuse them again and still have an impact on a second time. But I've been really enjoying the way the flavors and stuff pop after 4 weeks. So for me, 4 weeks is kind of a sweet spot. I've done 4. I've done 6 weeks too. 6 weeks is really good. But 4 has been perfectly fine. So, all right. So, what is that? because of the moisture in the wood, but I guess it's so small that it doesn't. No, there's not that much moisture. The wood's dry. There's no moisture in the wood. It's dry. Yeah, it's been toasted, so all the moisture in it's been steamed out. It's dry. The wood's dry. So there's no moisture in it. But if you're talking about the seasoning, yeah, it's so small it's not going to have effect. But also it depends too on the ABV of the seasoning that you're using. If you're using a Blanton's and it's a higher proof, you may be putting a little bit of alcohol into it, but not enough to make a difference. The stave I had in the G4 since 2018, would that still have anything to offer? If I drop it in, yeah, you might have a little bit in there still. But if you drop it in a different Blanco, it's going to take a little longer to get to where it is now. If it gets that, if there's enough to get it to there. 6 weeks worked out nice for me. Yeah, so JCS like 6 weeks for his. So 4 weeks works good for me. So if you want to do 4 weeks, you can do 4 weeks. What I like to do is take a little pipette, and just pull a little bit out, put it in a like a shot glass or something, and just taste it and see where it's at and see if you're good with it. So. What is that? Thoughts on going for 6 months to equal 6 years? 6 months to equal 6 years. 6 months wouldn't that? Was that 6 years? What 6 months is? Six months would be 180 months. Now, how many weeks is 6 months? 6 months is 24. So times 360. It's like 5 years, just over 5 years. I mean, if you want to do it, you can wait 6 months. I wouldn't want to wait 6 months. I think you can get enough flavor out of these just going for 4 to 6 weeks that you don't even need to do that. I can replicate the 7-year Diablito using this wood because it's new wood. See, you don't understand too. The wood that was used for like the El Tesoro 85th, that was a used barrel. This is new wood, so you're getting a lot more flavor and stuff from the woods. I wouldn't do that. You don't need to go that long. And you can still recreate the flavor profile, though, of those extra long-aged tequilas. They just, we'll let it go 7 years or whatever in a barrel that, it doesn't draw as much out as this stuff does. I'm going to try 3 new projects at 4 weeks. Okay, good. Let us know how they work. Season in Fortaleza and drop it in Calle 20. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to season in a tequila and drop it in another tequila? That doesn't make sense. 4 weeks for the first run. Would you do a 6 weeks for the second run? Absolutely, sure. Why not? And taste it. You may want to let it go a little bit longer. You may want to go 8 weeks. But just taste it as you're going through. Every week, pull a little bit out and taste it. But yeah, why not? 6 weeks will probably work nice. For a second use. I typically don't use a second use. I normally just use my stave once and then throw it away. Or I'll use it as a seasoning stave for a project like I'm going to do. Now I can take these old staves and season them with something, and they'll hold more of the seasoning in them, like more of the bourbon and stuff. And then you use a fresh one to age for a little bit. Like say I did 2 weeks with a fresh French oak, and I took a French oak that was soaked in Cabernet Sauvignon after I had used it all up before, and drop that in. Then you're going to get more cab flavor in it from the French oak. But I'll still have that good French oak flavor from the new one that I only used for 2 weeks, and then I can use that new one again for a second time. You mentioned that once that as you age very long, like 6 years, the añejo actually lightens in color. What? I never said that. I never said anything like that. I have never said anything like that. I think what you're misunderstanding is that when they use barrels that were used for long-aged bourbons, like a 25-year bourbon, that bourbon took a lot of the color and flavorings and stuff out of the barrel already. So that's why like G4 Extra Añejo and stuff is very light, because there was not a lot of stuff left in that barrel because the Dickel took it all out in the first use. That's what I said. I think you misinterpreted what I was saying. So I never said the longer you age it, the lighter it gets. I just said they were using the barrels from long-aged bourbons, and bourbon took most of the flavor and coloring out of the barrel already. So that's why if you look at a G4, I have a G4 Extra. Hold on, I'll show you. All right, so this is a G4 5-year Extra Añejo. See how light that is? For 5 years. And this is new wood, right? And that's 4 months. But look at the color difference, right? It's because this came from a Dickel barrel that was 25-year Dickel barrel. So the Dickel took all the color and flavoring out of it, most of it. So he just got what was left. And which tends to be mostly the Dickel bourbon and stuff. Does that make sense? So there's not a whole lot of color to it. It's very light. That's what I was saying. So I think you misunderstood what I was saying. All right, so this is the Lalo. Let's get back to this. How it coats the glass. Nice viscous mouthfeel to it. See the tears and legs and stuff coming down the glass. The color of it, it's a light straw as well. This one didn't pull a lot of color out like the other ones did that were more copper and golden brown. On the nose on this one, the vanilla and caramel notes are like super strong from this wood on this. But definitely has like a maraschino cherry, cinnamon and baking spices, hint of minerality to it. It smells really good. It just smells wonderful. All right. If Lalo did this as an añejo, I'd be very happy with it. But let's see what we get on the flavor profile. Nice viscous mouthfeel. Cinnamon baking spices, vanilla, caramel, dark chocolate. Wonderful. It's good. It's really good. A hint of the Blanton's in there as well. Nice bourbon, a little bit of bourbon heat from it as well. It's really nice. It's good. I definitely could sit and drink this and enjoy the hell out of it. If I was to put these in blind tasting for somebody, you guys would be like, wow, what brand did this? And it's like, no, I did it. I just used their Blanco. You wouldn't believe me. People wouldn't believe me. What I may do is I may give out like a couple of sample kits where I'll send out blind samples with numbers on it, and you guys can try to guess which is which. But I'll pick a couple people to give out sample collections to. So if you're here, in order to get a sample, you have to click the like button, give me a like, and then as you comment through here, I'll randomly pick somebody at some point. I may do two. Maybe I'll do two. So what is this? Here. So you don't have to season it first. Personally, I prefer, he prefers unseasoned. But if you want to season it, use an old stave and season the old stave. And that way you don't lose any of the flavoring in your seasoning from a brand new one. And then just drop the seasoned one in. That was one that you previously used, or used up, and drop that one in with the seasoning in it to get more seasoning and add a little more flavor to it. So if you taste during your seasoning, would it not be strong versus letting it mellow out? Taste during your seasoning? Like taste the seasoning? You're just seasoning it with a bourbon or something, so you just taste your bourbon before you put it in the bag, if that's what you want to do. Yeah, but you kind of get a feel for it after a few experiences. I don't know what he's... The color on this one is good. On the Lalo, yeah, it's very light. It's lighter than like this one, They're both 4 weeks. But it turned out really good. I'm really happy with it. So I could definitely enjoy this with a good cigar. Very drinkable, wonderful wood flavors from it. Definitely tastes like a really good añejo. That's good. Blind samples would be fun. Okay, yeah. So far, what's your favorite seasoning? Wine, bourbon? I don't know. Probably the port and the sherry are like my two favorites so far from this batch. They were really different and complex, so it's good. Oh, you mean he thinks if you taste during your aging? Oh, okay. Yeah, but if you taste it during your aging, take a pipette, pull a little bit out, put it in a shot glass or glass, and just swirl it a lot, get some air into it, and then taste it, and you'll get an idea of where you're at. And if it's really strong, then just let it sit, and then once it sits, it'll mellow out. If it's going to mellow and you want it a little bit stronger, you let it go for a little bit longer, and it'll mellow out after you pull the stave out. Great idea on the old stave seasoning. Yeah, just keep the old staves and use them for seasoning, and then drop a new one in for the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatever, and then pull it out. And that way you're saving that for a second use if you want to, and then drop the old one that was been soaked up all the wine or whatever in it, and you can let that go for however long you want. And the seasoning phase, so sucks up all your bourbon or your rum or your wine or whatever you're using, and then drop that one in. The seasoning absorbs the bourbon, and then that is introduced into the tequila plus the wood stave. No, the seasoning is the bourbon. The bourbon is your seasoning. You're seasoning the wood. So like this is a used stave right here, right? So I dropped this into bourbon in a bag, which is what I'm seasoning this. I'm making it a bourbon seasoned stave. And then I drop that into the bottle, and then as the tequila goes in, it pulls out the bourbon that's in here into the tequila. And so then it adds a bourbon-esque kind of flavor to it. So you're kind of replicating as if you were aging in a bourbon barrel, right? Because you age in a bourbon barrel, there's still bourbon in the staves of the barrel. And so you're drawing some of that bourbon flavor. And that's why when you drink the añejo or whatever, you can taste the Flintstone vitamin flavors from the Dickel. So that's what the seasoning is. It's the actual bourbon or rum or whatever. So you're seasoning the stave to give it a different flavor profile. Your G4 after 4 weeks get better with 8. Yeah, it will. It'll get better when you let it sit. Oh, excuse me. This is really good. So I definitely enjoy this one. So if you haven't aged a Lalo, you want to try it, go for it. It's good. All right, so now we're going to do the last one. And we're going to do the regular G4 with the regular French oak number 3 toast. It's 4 weeks. With the experimental wood G4, which is also French oak, experimental French oak. It's a higher quality French oak, so that's why he was experimenting with it. And we'll see what we get. So this one here is the, we'll do this in this class here. This is the experimental wood. So this is, I think, Chris, this is a 5-year open air season, right, on the experimental wood. It's like the highest quality wood you can get. If you were going to make a barrel out of this wood, it would cost you, Chris said, like 10 grand. So it'd be a very expensive barrel. So only like really expensive bottles of wine can use these barrels because they just cost too much. I add too much cost to the oh, even higher quality. Okay. So this is the highest quality wood you can get. He said it's very expensive. So like if you were to buy a stave of this to age with, he would have to charge you like $50 for it. All right. So this is the regular French oak stave, and this is the experimental wood stave. Thank you, Scott. What makes it quality? Chris, it's the open air seasoning, right? This is a heartwood? No, it's not heartwood. It's just the way it's seasoned. Which means they let it sit out in the elements in the open air outside, and then the wood, gets rained on, it gets blasted with the sun, it gets frozen, and then all of that helps increase the flavors and stuff that you get from the wood when it's used. A lot of wine companies, like the minimum they do is 3-year open air seasoned. Some providers use a kiln to dry the wood, which isn't a good thing. It produces a lesser quality flavor profile and stuff than letting it open air season. And then some goes for like 5 years open air. So the wood sits for 5 years out in the elements for 5, and gets exposed to them, and that's how it generates the amazing flavors that it does. Okay, yeah, I was right. Mainly how the open air seasoning for is similar to Blanco and extra except Blanco wood is not good at all. Yeah. The wood itself is usually stacked up outside in the elements for a very specific way. Yeah. So it goes through winter, spring, summer, fall, and as the seasons change and it gets hit with the elements, the heat from the sun, the cold, the rain and stuff, it helps create the flavor profile that we're looking for and gives a better flavor profile. So the longer it sits out and does that, the better the quality of the wood is. All right, so this is the regular French oak. We want to look at it in the... Coats the glass, great. See how the legs and tears forming on it. This color on this one's like almost like a copper. Just getting on. Hold on, from Dayton. Hey, what did you miss? You missed a lot. We're almost done. But glad you could make it though, Brian. It's always happy to see Brian come on. And this is the experimental wood. So this one coats the glass very nicely. You can see the legs and tears starting to form on it. And the color on this one is a little lighter than the ruby copperish kind of color from the regular French oak stave. So it's a little lighter. Oh, I gotta scratch my back. All kinds of allergy issues starting up right now. Let me hold on a second. My back scratchers. not here. All right. Sorry. Where's my back scratcher? All right, so yeah. The Tequila Hombre gave away 5,000. Yeah, 5 for 4 people. It was everyone whose first name started with a B got 5,000, but you weren't here for that, so. All right, so it's got those wonderful baking spices, and it's got this great butterscotch note and vanilla and caramel. It smells really good. I mean, I went over the tasting notes and stuff on this one on Tuesday. So this is the new one. So let's see what we get on the nose on this. The vanilla caramel notes and stuff are stronger on the regular French oak. They're a little more subdued on this one, but they're still there. It still smells good. They both smell really good. All right, so let's see what we get on the flavor profiles. The regular French oak, super oily, viscous mouthfeel, baking spices, ripe dried fruit like apricot, cherry, vanilla, butterscotch, dark chocolate. Really nice. Really nice. That's really good. I love it. It comes out like a like a caramel dark chocolate mix on the creamy on the end of it. All right, so let's see what that was the original one when I tasted before. This is the experimental wood. I'm just kind of waiting for my palate to. All right, so experimental wood. Sorry, I gotta learn how to drink. It wasn't because of the wood, it's because I actually inhaled while I was taking a sip and sucked alcohol into the wrong pipe. So sorry about that. Hold on one second. Wow, takes your breath away. If you ever do that, don't do it. All right, let's try this one again here. Still very viscous mouthfeel to it. Cooked agave. I don't know, Chris. Let me see. All right, here we go. Nice viscous mouthfeel to it. Definitely cinnamon and baking spices. Nice vanilla notes coming through. Not so much on the butterscotch. A little bit of caramel. Has an interesting bitterness to it too now that I didn't get from the other one. Actually, between the two of these, I prefer the regular stave. I don't know if this was toasted the same way or not, Chris. But the regular French oak stave, I think's better. This one's a little bit softer. Maybe a little bit creamier, but they're both very creamy. So, but it's a little softer on the flavors. It's not as full force on the flavors as the old the regular French oak staves are. Yeah, I like this one better right now. We'll let it sit for a little longer and see if I change my mind. But so far, I like the other one better. How much is the agave coming through on the nose? It's still there. It's still present. As long as you don't let it age too much, it's still there. I get it right up on the front. I get cooked agave, cinnamon, baking spices, that beautiful agave flavors up front. But the trick is not to let it go too long. If you let it go too long, you'll lose it. You'll age it out. But there's still plenty of agave on these. Lots of them up 4 weeks. That's why I kept it at 4 weeks, because I like to have the cinnamon and baking spices coming through on the front end of it. Been there, done that. It does. It's like, oof. Ugh. I just breathed in. I was like, that was rough. It might be a little lighter toast, so that would have some of the more natural bitter notes. Okay, I think that's what it was. It definitely had some more of a bitter wood note to it, and it wasn't as rich on the caramel and vanilla and butterscotch notes. Yeah, it was definitely softer. It was definitely softer. You can always let it age longer and with the higher end wood, but you'd pay a lot of premium in the high end wood world for that next level of roundness. Yeah, I'm happy with the regular staves. I mean, personally, for me, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It also protects the original spirit flavor more. I didn't get that. I still got the same agave, the cooked agave notes and stuff in the front of it from both of them. But I mean, if I wanted less wood notes, I just age it for less of a period. Just go a couple of weeks if I want to go more of a repo type of thing, 2 or 3 weeks. But I think will the staves fit? It will if they don't have the dripper thing on them, because sometimes Tapatio has the dripper spouts in the top of them. That's why I've had problems with them before. You have to kind of pull those out. I don't know if the new bottles have those in them or not, but if they don't, you can drop it right into a Tapatio bottle and do Tapatio. Shouldn't be any reason why it doesn't fit. Even the Carrera, the American bottles have nothing in the top, but the Mexican bottles have the drip tip thing in them, so it regulates how fast it comes out. But it should fit in a Tapatio bottle. But sometimes Tapatio has those drip things in them. I've had them before, but I don't know if they do it on the 750 bottles that are out now. They did them on the liter bottles, but I don't know if they're doing them the same thing now or not. All right, any other questions? Anything else you guys want to know about these aging projects? Go ahead and ask away. I'm going to just really quickly Just go bleep, 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 bleep. Everybody give me a like. Well, first, I'll give you a chance to click the like button and a comment if you want to try to win a set of samples to try them. But I'm going to randomly just pick 2 people and send them bottles of these samples. So hurry up and click the like, click the thumbs up, give me a like, and then comment and say hi, or comment and say I want samples or whatever. If you haven't already commented once before, and we'll pick somebody here to to get a sample of my aging projects. Hurry up, everyone, click the thumbs up button. All right, so Brian wants that. Arash likes samples. Arash, I sent you samples already. You got samples of the original aging projects. And what did you think of those, Arash? Arash got like 5 samples from the from the old aging projects that I did. All right, so my 2 sampler getters are just picking randomly Brian Kayet and Cole Centers. Those are going to be my 2 winners for samples. Oh, California, sorry. But Cole Centers and Brian Kayet, email me at mark@thetequilahombre.com with your mailing addresses, and I'll get you samples so you can try them. But the only caveat is that you have to comment on a future live stream and let us know what you think of them, okay? Yes, Arash said they were excellent. See, he liked them. The French Oak G4 was his favorite. Okay, good. Never say no to samples. Yeah, okay. Yeah, congratulations, Brian. Send me an email at mark@thetequilahombre.com with your mailing address. I'll get them mailed out. It may not be this week. It may take me a week or so to get them out. Sorry. Ever since I inhaled some of that tequila, I haven't been the same. So I'm going to be giving samples out all the time, you guys. So if you're new, subscribe. Click the subscribe on the channel. Click the notification bell. You want to be here for the live streams, because even when I do reviews and stuff, I've given away samples. That's what Scott Henderson was talking about. He wanted from the live stream that we did with my friend Daryl. California says, good. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Cole Centers, you're welcome. Email me, mark@thetequilahombre.com, and I'll get the samples out to you guys. And then you guys just have to comment and let us know what you think about them on a future stream. That's all. Okay. Well, that's going to be it for tonight, you guys. Like I always say, life is too short to drink bad tequila. So keep following my reviews on the Tequila Hombre channel. Keep coming here and learning about all the stuff that we're doing with the aging projects and stuff, and you'll be in great shape. All right, guys. Happy St. Patty's Day, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday for another live stream right here.